All right, so here we go. I know this is kind of impromptu. I don't really schedule streams. I don't really have a plan for what I'm trying to do because I'm quite busy at work these days. All right. So forgive me if I don't pop up every now and then. It's because, I work for a living. I'm an electrician. I do industrial, commercial, residential. But for the past 5 years, I've been doing nothing but industrial. So it takes a while for me to formulate thoughts, to dedicate my time and the energy to get in here. Now, if you're looking at the title of the stream, I wrote, I am angry. And the reason why I wrote that I am angry is because I've sat back and I've listened to content so much. Like I listen to it on the way to work. I listen to it while I'm working. And it amazes me that folks get up here on the internet and just flat out lie, right? So when it comes to the stuff you see on the internet, a lot of folks will gaslighting you into believing that this is not real life. This ain't real life. And I think it's bullshit. Because you know what the internet allows you to do? It allows you to express your innermost thoughts without any consequences for the most part. Unless you get doxxed, and of course, all your information is out there. And folks will use that to take you down. You'll be hard pressed to find information about me on the internet. But if you do, I ain't got nothing to hide, so that's that. Doesn't matter to me. But these folks will have you believe that. It's straight up gaslighting. Like it pisses me off. Because what they're doing is telling you that it doesn't matter what you say on the internet because, no matter what we do, it's okay. That's the message that I get from folks that sit up here on the internet and say those things. Y'all need to get off the internet. This ain't real life. No, it is real life. These are folks' innermost, darkest thoughts that they're working with. And because you don't know who they are, they have no problem, no consequence for the most part in dropping it on the internet to affect others' way of thinking. I mean, seriously, think about it. If I had nothing to lose and I can offer an opinion, I'll drop it right here. 1,000 people see it. Even if 1,000 people see it, let's say 10% take your word as gospel. That's 300 people. Well, correction. 3,000 people see it. 10% of that. I mean, you catch my drift, right? So you tell a friend, that friend tells two friends, that friend tells two more friends. Then by that logic, it multiplies. So this whole gender war, telling the truth, revisionist history thing, this shit got to stop. It has to stop. It absolutely has to stop. And I take issue with folks on the internet that say that black men just need to shut up and be quiet and follow black women. No. That's not how this works. This is a man's world, built by men, fought for by men, bled on by men. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that. We're done playing these games. We're done being silent. This is why I'm angry. I've seen people time and time again come up here on the internet, men and women alike, the simps, supporting these delusional ass folks, giving their takes on how men should be. Who the fuck are you to tell another man how he should operate? Seriously. We're done with this shit. That's why none of you men will get any respect from anybody. If you go against the very same men who have the same damn genitalia as you, This is why they don't respect you. And for me, this has been boiling and boiling and boiling. Even after Kevin Samuels passing, Sinful to P and so forth, who were telling young men how to operate so they don't get taken advantage of. It's sickening that you even have a ounce of pushback. I've done my research. I can go back at least 70 years of books that I've browsed through and looked at about all these lies and balanced them against what actually happened in history. The feminists of the time, when those books were written, because a lot of people don't want to talk about this, but books, TV, radio, and newspapers were the major forms of communication back in the day, back in the 1950s, as everybody wants to quote. Those were major forms of media. Not everybody owned a radio. Not everybody can afford the newspaper, but they can go to the library for free and read books. And a lot of this feminist propaganda, a lot of this alt-right propaganda, all this stuff that's affecting American lives today was a major form of media, to include denigrating black men was a major form of media. Now let that sink in for a second. Some of y'all are so far removed from critical thinking, it's insane. If all you had access to was books, guess what you did? You got your information from books. Today we have access to the internet. Them same lessons and bullshit ideologies were just brought forward today through the internet. And the people paying the price for it right now are black men. But lo and behold, the golden age of the manosphere, where men were allowed a platform to speak on these issues, where we can talk about these issues, where we can back up everything that we do with data, statistics, whatever. The gender war is over. Kevin Samuels said it best. The gender war is over. Cut it the fuck out. We're done with it. All we're doing right now is putting out fires of misinformation. When I came up here on YouTube, this is not my first channel. I've been on YouTube since 2012. I had a gaming channel. I put down the gaming because I got tired of hearing here and there about how bad black men are. And I started on this podcast to help young black men out of the hope and despair and the ain't shit-isms they didn't want us to go along with. Because I was told by my very own mother that I ain't shit. I'm not a damn thing. She had no hope for me. Until this day, she never apologized for the way she treated me. And I know plenty of black men feel the same damn way. So here we are. Here we freaking are. So I got this little presentation for you. It's not going to be very long. I don't plan on being on here all night. But here we go. Let me read this to you. Because so many people want black men like myself, and I'll show you the TikToks. I've showed them in the previous video that I did, They want me to come back, and men like myself to come back and help the damn community that ain't give us shit. Told us we weren't shit. Went along with the narrative. Some of y'all who had negative things to say about black men, y'all sound like white supremacists. We don't have to deal with it. I tell black men, walk the hell away. Go off and start your own thing. And if enough of us do that, we could build the communities that we envision. But we can't do it with folks that are always looking down at you. Like Philip Scott said many years ago, you can't take everybody with you. Some people got to be left behind. So here we are. The men of means and those of us aspiring to do better must separate ourselves from those who don't want better. The mindset of the culture must be set behind. You see it on the screen, even though my avatar is probably in the way. Let me adjust that for you for a second. We got to do that. I don't care whether it's men, women, I don't give a damn. If you have to leave your children behind, do so. You can't do anything with a poisoned crop. And that's real. Sometimes you got to blow the whole damn thing up and start over. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. Shout out to Machismo TV, the collection of brothers there who believe that we must do something different. Ain't no changing certain people after a certain age. You are who you are. You are what you say you are. I'm not here to convince you to change. I'm here to talk to people who think like I do, who don't give a damn about what's going on in the hood where most of our folks live, because nothing's chaining you to those positions. Nothing, absolutely nothing is keeping you there. So why are you there? Why are you continuing to be there? See, I thought that between the music and everything that's going on, the music from the early 90s told you, hey, man, I'm trying to rap to get up out of the hood. I'm trying to play ball to get out of the hood. Why would you stay in that position thinking you're going to improve it? Worldwide, there is a caste system. You're not going to rise any higher than your station in life unless you change something. That is a universal lesson. And I want y'all to pay attention to it. Let's go to item number 2 over here. Item number 2, are you gonna pop up? Here we go. So when it comes to social media and why a lot of these black feminists, male, female alike, hate the manosphere, it's really simple. And I'm looking side-eyed at you, detractors, you know, the FD signifiers of the world. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you for Harriet. See, the great thing about social media is that the stories that often get buried come to light, showcasing our best and brightest. There are a whole lot more of PhDs on the manosphere side of things than there are on the other side. It's just so happened that so many women had the microphone before us. They got a head start. But now the information is being debunked. Now you got to show facts. You got to show data. You have to show evidence of what you're talking about. People aren't going off of, just your word. Take my word for it, Kimberly Nicole Foster. Everything you say is pure speculation. I don't give a damn if you went to Harvard. You're just like Cynthia G, just spewing a bunch of nonsense and nothing to back it up. Using anecdotal evidence, nothing to back it up. Exposes men's issues. White, black, Latino, Asian, whatever. We all men have similar issues. It's just that when it comes to black men, We're like the canary in the coal mine. We are the worst case scenario for all men who walk this earth. We're not denying that. They're sitting back watching us, because I have white colleagues, Hispanic colleagues, Asian colleagues that I work with. And every now and then they'll ask me a question. I'm like, look no further than the black community nearest you. Shout out to Sergeant Willie Pete. I mean, seriously. Everything that men are going through, we have the ability now, because the news stations ain't covering. Imagine if we had a news station or news network who catered to mostly men. Y'all would freaking hate it. We would be accused of hate speech. People wouldn't like what we had to say at all. Because in my opinion, what we say is grounded in logic and evidence of why we make our decisions. You ever ask a woman what she wants to eat? You'll get like 5, 6 different answers, different tastes for whatever. While we're simple. One example is, if a man goes to a store, he walks in, grabs what he needs, he walks out. You take your wife to the store, you're walking up in every single damn aisle. My wife knows this. I've expressed this to her. I'm a married man. I know how this goes. You're doing a maze before you to get out that damn store. It doesn't matter what store you go to. There's a reason why they put all of the female-centric items up front in these stores to keep your ass in there. And every man I see walking through the store, walking behind his significant other, they look miserable. And I feel their pain. Highlights our family, social, and political issues. That's a fact. Because of YouTube, Twitter, all the social media that's out there, we're able to talk about these things. Nobody wants to take an interest in what men want. That shows how gynocentric our society has become. Before all this social media, internet, and all this stuff, men ran the damn country. But because there's a buck to be made off the way females think, and I'm not, no shade, females are easily manipulated. How else do you get some of these chicks with 3 to 4 different baby daddies and 6, 7 kids? Easily manipulated. And I'm not trying to throw shots at people, but think about that for a second. How do you get to that point where an individual can take advantage of you to that point? Like the 8, 9, 10 D's that came your way weren't all the same? You thought it was a great idea to procreate again, and again? That's manipulation, right? But that's not all men. That's that small percentage of men that everybody gets blamed for. It's bullshit. And that's what we're gonna debunk all this stuff. Medium Man does a great job of using the data, because that's what he does for a living. He uses the data, and I love his analysis a lot of times on said issues. Give every man a voice, good, bad, or indifferent. There's a lot of dudes on the internet. A lot of people have good things to say, but being a person with a brain, you can differentiate between who's telling you what's good for you versus who's telling you is bad. That falls into the whole manipulation realm. The men of the manosphere are not trying to manipulate women. That's the dating coaches. They are a separate entity from everybody else. They came first before the manosphere and the red pill decided to break this thing down to the molecule and let men know what the truth is versus reality, how to operate, how to move. That's what the manosphere does. And all you daggone right-wing shills who think they know what the hell's going on, y'all need to do some more research. Y'all need to actually study what the men are saying. I would dare to venture to say that you need to go back to David Carroll, Kevin Samuels, Angry Man, Obsidian, if you can find any of his videos, and go research that. Not just the white manosphere counterpart, but go research that. Matter of fact, I'll throw you a bone. Go look at Rollo Tomasi's book. Even though he claims he's the originator of a lot of this stuff, he's really not. But he has collected just about every point that the manosphere has made into his books. But maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe I'm wrong for even suggesting that we should do such research. But give me 1 second. Let me see here. All right, so I had to hit the backlighting on my keyboard. All right. So moving on, we're gonna jump back a little bit here, and we're gonna talk about a little bit of the discourse that I've been seeing lately. Now, when I made these slides, and I was just going off on a whim on some of the things I've seen in the past. Now, today, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. This right here is a fact. 50 plus years in the making. All men are bad rhetoric has been there. The 1.0 manosphere, also considered the first wave of men online to challenge feminist ideologies, would take root. That was almost 15 years ago. So for some of y'all that's just now coming into the space and figuring out how men actually think, that should tell you something. That should tell you a lot. If you never heard your grandfather, your father, whoever speak like this, here it is. This is how men think. Go ask your coworkers, your homeboys or whatever. Have they had these same thoughts of the things that we have discussed here on YouTube in the manosphere? You will be shocked. You'll find a lot of surprising similarities between what we do here and versus what your friends think, what actual men think. This is nothing new. Men are not always quiet. This shouldn't be news to you. It may explain to the female side of the house, whoever's viewing this video, why we think the way we do. I can tell you the basic is we are grounded in logic. And for the folks that don't like us, let me explain something to you, because I've seen a lot of this shit saying that we hate women, we despise whatever. Y'all forget we grew up with you. And based on current science, a lot of what we do nowadays, we were already set in our ways years ago. After a certain age, I want to say it was like 5 or 7 or something like that, you are who you're going to be in the way you're thinking and the way you develop from there. So let me be clear. This is not new. What we're doing here today is highlighting how this is transformed and evolved over the years. I remember in the 90s walking in the house from school, waiting on my cartoons to come on, and my mother watching Oprah, Ricky Lake, whatever, Sally Jesse Raphael. And a lot of those shows, when they got wind that they can use black people to highlight issues, like the canary in the coal mine, they were all over the place talking about us. More likely, they were making a subset of a certain group look bad. And that's what they did. Black men weren't allowed to push back or give their perspectives in a lot of cases on a lot of those issues. The very few Ricky Lake episodes that I saw, well, not the very few, the Ricky Lake episodes that I saw when the black men, whoever, even on Oprah, were pushing back, they didn't like that. There were a lot of boos in the audience. And then from there, you seen black men disappear altogether off them shows. All they did was talk to one side of the house, and nobody ever got the black man side of the story from there. That was 30, almost 40 years ago. How fair is that? And now that you got to listen to a little bit of pushback from the men in this space, folks can't handle it. 15 years of the manosphere does not equate to the 50 plus years of negative rhetoric coming out of one side of the house. But nobody's seeing the overall picture here, because these issues spread out into other communities. In my opinion, it was a diversion tactic, a division tactic. Now we can keep playing. We can keep playing along, of course. But where does that get us? Where does that get us? People want to blame the manosphere for the way dating and mating is, right? But like I said, it's 50 plus years of men being talked about, false narratives put on us. There wasn't a whole lot of abuse going on back in the day. On your screen right now is one of the companies that I found who publishes all of these damn books. There are some older ones, but this one right here is one of the more prominent ones. I pulled this from one of my college's websites. I've been to 3 different colleges. I have degrees. But when you graduate, you still get access to their libraries. And one of the things I noticed is that you got this company right here, as well as these other feminist publishers. A nation can rise no higher than the moral standing of its women. That's the short form of that quote. Can't remember who said it. Can't remember who put it out there. I know Kevin Samuel said it. But when you go back this far, 1972, 7 years after civil rights, and you got a whole corporation going live and strong to this day. This company provides books to a lot of colleges in the United States. Hell, they could be worldwide. These books are required readings in a lot of college courses. Even Dr. Tiason Johnson said that he had to take a lot of feminist studies courses and had to do reports and work on them. Even though he vehemently disagreed with the way they viewed men, he had to sit there and eat this crap in order to get his degree. And y'all are worried about 15 years. A lot of people aren't even aware it's been 15 years since the manosphere first showed its face. And people are worried about the 15 years when you got on your screen a company. Even though this says 1972 to 2000, there are articles that they've written to this day. This may be a typo with the 2000 part, but if you did the math on this, that is 52 years of writings, teachings, and so forth that have been in our institutions right here in the United States. But you're worried about 15 years of the manosphere? trying to correct the problem, level set the situation, level set the gender war. It's like, seriously.
Bitch, are you for real?
If you really think about this, who struck first? I searched long and hard for books where men have to subjugate women and make them slaves. You know what I found? Absolutely zero. Zilch. Not one single book. Not one writing, not one teaching on how to train a man, train a woman, how to beat a woman, nothing. But you got a book on Amazon that was there, 2 years ago? They keep changing the cover, changing the pseudonym for the author and republishing it on Amazon. The book was called Damn, How to Destroy a Man Now. The most disgusting book I've ever come across on how to use actual allegations to destroy a man's career or take a man down. Where are the books like that from the men's side of the house? Are there any books that say how to destroy a woman now? Of course not. Men don't think that deep into these situations. We really don't. Now, one of the things I saw as I was doing my research, now this is just documented in the United States, right? One of the oldest companies, rather. But when you look up feminism in the United States, this goes all the way back to the 1800s. It's taken this long for it to get to this point. And what I really want to know is, what's the end game? You've made all men criminals, pretty much. You got young ladies in fear of young men. You've muscled your way into the workforce. You've muscled your way to equality, quote unquote. What's the end game? We're 200 plus years in the making of this. It has not improved your position a whole lot because of the way the world works. Now we're starting to see the negative effects of implementing such systems. We're seeing it. A lot of depression, a lot of self-deletions, a lot of folks going to the grave without having children, birth rates declining, economy tanking, companies tanking, and for what? All this does is prove the manosphere right. That's all it does. That's all it's ever done. It's prove us right. And again, with the likes of people like myself, Medium Man, Sergeant Willie P, Obsidian, even Tommy, when he was on YouTube, discussed this when it came to the numbers. Kevin Samuels is great at packaging these numbers in bite-sized pieces, whether people liked it or not, and showed you the data statistics. More importantly, they showed you blackdemographics.com, which I didn't know existed till Kevin came around. R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. But once I saw it and I started digging into the information myself, you know, things become clear because you can easily balance it against the census. You can balance everything said in the manosphere against the U.S. Department of Labor. You know, they have a great tool to where you can look at a job, whatever you want to be, look at the outcomes. You can also look at what it takes to achieve this title, this profession, what degrees you need, what what education you need, right? But a lot of people don't know that. This is something that I was taught by my career counselor. And a lot of people don't get it. The information is out there. You got it in the palm of your hand. You want to be a youth counselor? You can look it up. It will tell you exactly what the qualifications are, what education level you need. And then from there, you can deduct the information like, hey, I need to go to this college, get this degree. I need to take these classes. You can do some backwards planning from the U.S. Department of Labor's website. But some of y'all don't know that. Some of you females out there claiming you're making all this money, I can reverse look up what you do for a living, where you live, how many positions are available at said point, and debunked everything you're saying. Because not everybody out here makes six figures. Nobody. I can tell you right now, I make six figures. On paper, I make six figures. It's not everything you think it is. It's not.
This is beautiful. What is that, velvet?
It's not velvet, but it's not what you think it is. Seriously. Because after taxes, hell, you probably, let's see, at 150 minus, let's see, pardon my yawn. This has been a long day. I've been up since 4 this morning. Let's see, I'm at about 150, 160. About 100 is 125 is probably take home pay, right? But what they don't tell you is that you can make a lot of money, but depending on where you live, that money doesn't go very far. The lifestyle a lot of y'all want to live is actually a millionaire's lifestyle. And that's very few and far between, so you might as well just drop it and deal with folks who can help you in living comfortably. Now, moving on. I present things as truth to the best of my ability, and I own my mistakes. Most men in the space do the same. We don't have to lie to make folks look bad like the other side does. Now, how many times have we had to debunk what's been said about black men from the likes of Kimberly Nicole Foster, Cynthia G, I'm forgetting a lot of names, but there are so many. When YouTube became available and anybody can go online, it wasn't a whole bunch of men talking trash about women. It was the other way around. The same thing they've done to us in movies, television, and, the same thing that's been done to us in movies, television, and magazines, even as far as a black-owned publication, black-owned websites, it's just been nothing but lies. And all dudes have been doing, there's no shortage of content in disproving all these lies. I know one of the most famous ones is every 5.5 hours a black woman is killed, but when you do the math and extrapolate that out, it's not true. Because at that rate, there wouldn't be any black women left. Barely any left. And I see them every day. So that is a lie. There are folks who mean to disrupt and keep men from comparing notes. Hence, the takedown of certain channels. I'm pretty sure that once I get to a certain point, people are going to try to take me down. And it's fair enough. When people don't like what you got to say, they'll rally the troops and come at you from all different angles, waiting for you to make a mistake. But I've said nothing wrong. I've said nothing that I can't prove in here in my presentation. See, this is the the truth as I see it. You can even consider it my opinion, but it is based in fact. Look at what happened to Obsidian a couple weeks ago. His channel was removed because somebody didn't like the way he was talking about them. Okay? Cynthia G was removed because she pretty much spread a bunch of lies and did not back up anything, and it was viewed as hate speech. And that's pretty much what it was. It was all hate speech. Now, what I do on this channel, pretty much sticking up for and developing men to be leaders, does not mean that we hate women. And I say it a lot. I do not hate women. I do not hate women. I do not hate women. Got to do my Umar thing there for a second. I don't hate women. I just tell the truth how I see it. If you don't like that we calling out, your nature and what you do, don't be here. Don't. Most of the large anti-black male content creators are lying about black men. That came from Accountable Commentary. I follow him quite a bit. I'm there for every single video. His view on the way he sees things, I understand why he sees things the way he does. Because a lot of what he does is just debunk the lies and tells young men how to operate. It doesn't matter if you don't like the term Keisha. If you don't want to be called Karen or Keisha, don't operate like that. It's that simple. Nor am I advocating for you to get with one of those type of folks. Now, on your screen right now is a video I did on Dr. Umar. This video has given me the most views on this channel. I have other YouTube channels, but on this channel, this is the most views I've seen in a while, especially on this channel. I did this video on Dr. Umar. I'm not going to click on it because if you want to see the video, you can see it in its entirety. If you go through my video catalog, I did that video. It's about 35 minutes long. I showed the receipts on what's going on with that school. Mike TV has done an excellent job on going back through the archives, so as Lennon Honor, and showing you why this shit is fraudulent. We do not support Dr. Umar over here. I think he's a clown. I think he's a grifter. I think he's a scammer. He's been, as of late, he's been leaving little breadcrumbs so that if this school isn't built, hey, I told you I may or may not be able to build this school, instead of saying this school is going to open on these dates, and he's missed about 5 or 6 so far. But because he speaks well and talks slick, let's see who else speaks well, talks fast, and everything sounds good. Pimps. You got pastors that talk that way, even though they're doing wrong in the church. You got politicians that sound like this man, telling you one thing, the left hand never knows what the right hand is doing. And yet people stand behind him. He's the best we got. That was one of the comments that was left on my channel. He's the best we got. If that's the best we got, a man who refuses to open a school and put his nose to the grindstone, who is constantly disrespecting folks who don't donate, disrespects black women by trying to make them pay for a date with him, who recently got caught up with some fat chick and then lied about it. I don't give a shit what anybody says. What's up, Johnson? I don't care what anybody says. Dude is full of crap. He really is. Hang on, let me blow this up for a second. I can't see the chat from where I'm sitting. My bad if I missed your comment. Can't make out what you were saying there. Like, please type it out so I can actually read it, man. I don't really speak emoji like that. I'm trying to make out what he's saying. But anyway, like, let me put this on the screen. Lie. Jamberry lie. Yep. Game over. Trying to make this out, man. Clarify that for me. But it's crazy to me that people continue to follow this dude. They really do. If you give me a second, let me switch to studio mode here, and I'm going to fix this to where I can. Oh wait, there it is. I'm trying to fix this to where I can pop up your chats on screen. I always forget to do this before the stream starts. Shit, screwed it up. All right, let me see if I can. Oh, let's see here. All right, so let me back out of studio mode there. But there's the comment that I was looking at. It says lie, ha ha ha, game over. Okay, got it. Let me bring this back up. But yeah, like dude sits there and he just taking in donations, talking about the school. Mike TV talked about how he kind of alluded to, even if I don't open up this school, I've done more for black people than anybody else, which is not true. It's not true. King Randall was just on Mr. Fantastic stream, right? This dude built his school in less time. We're going on since 2000, going on 15 years that this dude has been talking about a school. King Randall School is up and going and continuing to get funding. Even in that stream, they raised like what, $1,000 or whatever just to give to the school. Umar has raised what I think has been approaching is well over millions allegedly, and he has done nothing with the properties he got for damn near free. No staff, no nothing. King Randall, 25, 26 years old, got a staff, sees his children on the regular, unlike Umar. Is still making fundraisers, meeting his goals. His school is almost fully funded. Yes, his school is ran off of donations, just like how FDMG is supposed to be ran. Yet, the doors are still not open. Please help me understand why Umar is like,
Fuck them kids.
Pretty much, when he set out on this endeavor, my kids were in elementary school. They have now graduated. Give me one. Let me take a short break here. All right, I'm back. Let me jump back into it. Now, these are some of the people, as you look at these folks, typical. These are some of the people who's had a lot to say. Now, these aren't my pictures. I just pulled them from their social media. You got Paris Milan, Sprinkle Sprinkle Lady, Tanya TKO, always talking crap about black men and so forth. These are just a few of the detractors. Female version. And then you got the hoteps, the hopeless, and so forth, who want to talk trash about folks, black men in particular, or men in general. Tonight's conversation, the worst collaboration I think I've ever seen on YouTube. A bunch of people that think they know what they're talking about, but they really don't. They're in the panderer class, along with Mr. Derek Jackson, who has been cheating on his wife the entire time, even though folks have been warning you about him for the longest. Hell, my ex-wife used to watch his videos and send them to me. Like, I'm supposed to be like this dude. Good thing I didn't take his advice. I mean, now look at him. Yeah, he's still quote unquote successful, but where's his morals? Got his wife looking crazy out there while he's cheating. Yeah, sure, some of y'all may think he's good to look at, right? But what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? That you'll accept what he does on the side just to be with him? You need to take a look at yourself. You got Brother Polite, Umar, and I forget what the other dude's name is in this picture. I've seen him around quite a bit. It escapes me for the moment. But, you know, you got the three kings of simping. All they do is tell people what they want to hear so that you buy their books, donate, come to their events, and you end up in the same spot you were in before you started listening to them. All they do, all these folks, every last one of them, between these folks and these folks, all they do is feel good content. All they do is work on your confirmation bias of everything that you've gone through in your life and make you feel good about your decisions and how you think right now, just to keep you entertained, just keep you watching. The more you watch this content, the more they get paid. They go off into the sunset and live their lives while you're still miserable, and they tell you about your misery. At least here in the manosphere, they tell you, hey, you don't have to sit in that space. You don't have to be miserable. Change this, and this about your life and watch it improve. And they have examples, and they have statistics, and they have a whole community of men backing them up. So what say you? Are we going to keep going down this path, or are we going to change some things? But in case you don't believe me and what I say about these people, here's some examples of some of the text, not the text messages, but some of the things that I've seen. Hang on, let me see here. On my YouTube journey. Let's go here. Okay, fair enough. Let me back out of that one. That was actually one of the positive ones. He makes a lot of money from interviews. They were backing up my point of this dude just trying to fleece people of their money. Let's go to this one. Dr. Umar has done more than all you sellouts. Now, this is just talking about Umar. I haven't left any comments on anybody else's channel because the video that I showed you earlier is talking about these cancers of amongst men. Now, when you create a garden, you want that garden weed free. You have a crop, you want it weed free, because weeds can infect your crop, can give your crop diseases, can also ultimately kill your crop. That's what we're trying to do here. You got to weed out, pun intended, you got to get rid of the weeds. You have to. You can't operate with cancer. Have you known anybody who's had cancer? They get really sick. My wife has had cancer multiple times. It is debilitating. That's the same way any community operates. If you got people who are doing bad, like the damn knuckleheads running around, deleting folks and robbing stores, and the reason why the store is closing because they won't stop stealing. You got a bunch of those people. They are a cancer to you. You have to cast them out. You have to remove them. This idiot says Dr. Umar has done more than all you said, sellouts. And then, which I replied, if this was an upside down world, that would be true. How do you, I misspelled, I left a word out here. How do you let someone steal from his people and glorify it? Your ignorance is showing. What's wrong with that statement? Seriously, what's wrong with that statement? And then I had another exchange over here. I'm going to show you this one. This one. Independent institutions so important. Very good thing Dr. Umar is building this. Newsflash, he ain't built nothing. He took over some vacant buildings for free, damn near, and is using that as a bait and switch, smoke and mirrors to get more folks to donate to think that he's doing something. This is almost a Ponzi scheme. You missed the point. He ain't built anything, just taking in money. Where did I lie? He's done nothing. I've looked at the permits. I showed you the freaking permits. You can't do anything in the commercial world, school world, whatever, without permits. You can't do it. I don't care if it's public or private. You simply can't do it. There are laws you still got to abide by in order to be sanctioned. Okay? And then here's the insults. I didn't insult this person. A couple minutes of research proves you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Interesting. Me being the construction professional that I am, licensed electrician, I know how to pull permits and look at the work going on in the city. If I want to know what the next big project is, I would go to any state's website, their labor and industries, whoever does their construction permits. It's all public record. You can look at that stuff and determine which company got a contract. If they're pulling the permits, more than likely they got the contract. But when you look at his permits, all you see is Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. If I'm not mistaken, that is not a construction company. You can pull homeowners permits, and I think that's what he's doing, pulling some shady homeowner permit type deal and trying to do the work itself to be in compliance, which could work depending on the laws of the state you're in. However, most states require that you use licensed professionals to do the work in order to get inspected and get it passed off on. I know this. Umar probably has ran into this, but maybe somebody down there is trying to, give him a little help. And then the second part of this comment says, churches don't have to. Yes, they do have to report. Even though they're this shows how much some of y'all know about finance. They have to report what they make to the IRS. Even though they are tax exempt, you still got to report it. You still have to file a type of return. It escapes me for now, but you still got to file it. And to which I replied, you must be blind. I showed you public records showing he's done nothing. There are laws he must follow when building a private institution, even when dealing with it, as I explained. Now, the bigger picture of this is, if he's doing shady stuff to open up this school, what does that mean for the children going there? it means that they could possibly be in harm's way by going to this institution. If it's not cleaned properly, they could get sick. If it's not maintained properly, say there's a problem and he just skips over it, like, you know, I don't know, one of them weight-bearing columns is rusted or cracked, right? Let's say that the inspector told him to fix it and he just throws some plaster on it when it really needs to be welded or replaced. What say you then? See, these are the type of things that engineers and folks that know about construction should know. What's up, man? Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm missing your comments right now. I'm going off on kind of a tangent trying to why the hell is my chat so small? There we go. What's up, Snowman? I appreciate you stopping by, man. My bad. I'm going off right now. But like, I'm looking at all these comments and the ignorance that shows, like, how do you call yourself educated and you can't do, and folks say to me, you should do a Google search, right? And figure it out. And then you got this individual right here that says, I'm going to ask if you're working for the white man. Okay. If you live in America, the dominant society, or the people with the most numbers in America, are white people. Okay. The entire country is estimated, 350 million. There may be 40 million black people. So the majority is white people. You got 10% here for Hispanics, maybe another 10% for Asians or whatever, but majority of the country is white. So this statement right here makes no sense. If majority of the people are white, more than likely the businesses you work for, there's a white man somewhere in your up the chain somewhere. This is not Africa. This is not Africa. You can't, for folks to claim they're so educated, and for me not to insult them by calling them dumb, y'all are making it very, very difficult. You're making it difficult. And it was a juvenile response, as I stated here. You're working for the white man. Okay, if you're not working for a white person, name me some predominantly black businesses you work for. I mean, I know there's quite a few, but I want this person to name one. If I had to do the numbers on this, more than likely you're working for whatever job and your supervisor's white, somebody in your chain is, who owns the business is white. So you're really not saying anything with this comment. But this is stuff you got to deal with. This is the BS. At least give me an argument against what I said. I don't have a problem with white people. The folks that make these type of comments, they do. So let's take a look at this one. This individual, he's made quite a few comments on my channel. He said things like this. Now the next video you make better be a white man and the infrastructure that creates compared to versus a black man who has his school 4 years, helping blah, 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 people buying Jordans and Yeezys. You, sir, are the real frauds. Okay. Now let's break this down. First of all, I do whatever I want on this channel. If I want to talk about something, I talk about it. If I deem it necessary to talk about it. There's plenty of YouTubers doing other content, whatever. If I'm not your flavor, you can go there. Making a comparison between a random white person and what Umar is doing is a false equivalency. I can see what Umar is doing. This random person, tell me who this random person I'm supposed to be comparing them to is. And then we can have an argument about that. Some folks get so caught up in pro-blackness, and in my opinion, it kind of holds us back a little bit, because Under the tenets of pro-blackness, which I reject completely, you can only do business with black people. You can only work for black people. You have to always be around black people and do nothing for nothing but black people. Now, tell me how that works. This is not Wakanda. We don't own a whole lot of businesses that generate the money that we need to fix anything. You can't build big business on serving just one group of people. Now, when you talk about the J community, they have products that serve all people. They may interchange money between each other, but the products and services they provide actually serve other people. But they keep their money internal. Their major deals they do between themselves. But if they have something to sell, they sell to everybody else. The same thing goes on in the Asian community. Why do you think they have a monopoly on hair products? They set up shop in every place that black people are. They know we buy their stuff. Do they spend their money on our stuff? No. Now, this whole comment doesn't make any sense at all. You're talking about Jordans and Yeezys and 4 years with little help. No, people have spent money on this man. There were groups of people who were going to come in and help him get this done because they saw how important it was, and he rejected it because he wanted to be in charge. He just wanted the money and them not say anything or have any input. One of those people I know. Let's see what we got here. And here we go. Another Bay L, whatever, probably a female. If you do not know how to build something, actually, and that's a problem I have with the community. Everybody's always talking about building stuff, right? But nobody knows how to actually build. It's a great talking point, and until somebody pulls your chain on it, it works flawlessly because it shuts a lot of people up. It really does. It shuts a lot of people up. What the hell are you building? Do you understand anything about building anything? You know anything about, okay, you need a place of gathering, you need funding, you need staff, you need revenue, capital, etc. If you want to build anything, you want to equate what Umar is doing to SpaceX. How stupid is that? And I'm not saying that's what this person is saying, but like it pisses me off that folks really don't know what the hell they're talking about. Now let's look at this one right here behind my head. Uh-oh. How'd I do that? Let me erase that. I want you to look at this one right here. Oh, no, I didn't expand. I already looked at that one. I think I expanded that one. And I think that's pretty much it, right? But those are some of the comments that I get a lot. And it kind of it makes me mad because I see iterations of this all over the internet. But let's take a look here. Uh-oh. There we go. Got it. All right, for some reason my navigation is not working. So what do we do now? So I titled this subsection up. You can read along with me. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. The only way we can go is up, right? We're already in a hole. Because of our family structure, the way we were brought up, we are already in the hole. And a lot of us have dug our way out of it. And the trick bag is you got folks saying you should come back and help us build. No. Fuck that. What I was taught was that if you find yourself in a hole, quit digging. I'm going to say that again. If you find yourself in a hole, quit digging. What do you think coming back to the hood and where you came from is going to do? Put you right back in the same hole you clawed your way out of. And for men, for the most part, You've had to do that with very little resources. I'm going to prove it right here. Go to the U.S. Department of Education and use their scholarship search. Search for scholarships and grants for men and see what comes back. You're going to see a bunch of joint scholarships, but nothing specifically for men based upon your gender. Absolutely nothing. They'll return you thousands of results of scholarships that everybody can apply for. But look for scholarships that apply to women, right? And then if you want to go a step further, start breaking it down by race, ethnicity, whatever, and do those different searches. You're going to see hundreds, if not thousands of individual scholarships based on gender, race, and ethnicity. Hell, you got more scholarships for incest than you do for the regular everyday dude. Think I'm lying? Go do a search on it. You will be amazed at the amount of scholarships that go against that are the lack of scholarships for straight white males. There aren't none. But if you're part of the rainbow community, there are tons of them. See, this racism thing doesn't just affect black folks, it affects a lot of people. And then you want to go to gender, it affects mostly the men of every different race, right? It's crazy. One of the things I want people to stop doing, stop listening to people who aren't where you want to be or will not take the time to teach. And I see this so much. A lot of these YouTubers out here are fake it till you make it life coaches. Once they get a big enough following, now they can look like the person they're trying to tell you to be. I am an electrician. I can tell you how to get into the trades and everything else. I am where, if you want to do that type of work, I'm already there. I already make a decent enough living. But a lot of these people, I'm not going to call out any names, but there's a lot of people. One was featured on Earn Your Leisure, talking about all this money to be made. All they did was rent out a place in another country, sell a course, and tell you you can get here too if you buy my course, and blah, 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 blah. Come to find out, they were broke. They weren't rich until folks bought that course and made them rich. Lying to people the entire time. Cut it out. Do your research on these people. Ask where their places are. What's the address so I can look it up? Because if it doesn't show your name, because you can do a search. If you have an address for some of these places that they claim they bought or rent out or whatever. Matter of fact, if you know what city they're in, you can look on there and look at recently sold properties and see who the person is that bought it, who actually owns it, and see if the name matches up with the person that's trying to tell you this. There are so many ways to check, and double check the information that these folks are putting out here without doxing them completely to see if they're telling you the truth. Third, leave the pro-black crowd alone. It's a trick freaking bag. Like I just said a few minutes ago, they will tell you that black is everything you need to be and this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, if you only do business with black folks, you're limited. If you only stay around black folks, you're limited. If you never leave the hood or the environment you came from, you are limited. Is all this stuff, wealth, building wealth, it's not about race. Yeah, you can say that our history started off in a bad place, but nowadays there are no barriers to achieving riches and wealth. No white man is hanging you from a tree telling you to stay off the internet, making money, making investments, going to the bank, getting loans, buying property. Nobody in a white damn hood is keeping you from doing that. So cut it the fuck out. You can't keep going forward, dragging the past with you. And last but not least, link up with like-minded people. You folks that want to believe in all this pro-black stuff and stay where you are, don't want to cut your hair, want to smoke, drink, and everything, stay the fuck over there. You want to deal with folks that are irresponsible, stay over there. You want to deal with folks that don't want anything better in life? Stay over there. Stay the hell away from me and individuals that want to make a change, who want families, who want to build an actual community for them and their children to survive. And it doesn't have to be just a black community, white, whatever. I understand what them folks are doing. What they're doing, they're not worried about us. Why are you worried about them? Worry about you and yours. Worry about your family. Cut it out with this racism shit. You so worried about racism? Why the hell is Joe Biden in office? He has an actual record of being racist. He put laws in the books that got your uncles in jail. I know people in jail to this day who went to jail in the 90s behind all the shit with that crime bill. Show me where Trump put a bunch of people in jail. I'll wait. He may have had some civil rights issues and court cases and stuff that he settled and stuff like that. That's a whole lot better for those few people that he settled with than the millions, if not hundreds of thousands of people who were affected by the 96 crime bill or 93 crime, whatever year it was. Come on now. Y'all supposed to be intelligent, right? Supposed to be the smartest, most agile, most athletic. Melanin is popping, but you can't see that right there in front of your face. That man said, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. And yet y'all still put him in office. That was it for me. You had 8 years of Obama, ain't do shit. Leave that pro-black bullshit alone. I've had enough of it. It has not advanced us not a bit. We went from Martin and Malcolm to Poe Light and Begging. This is why men's spaces are important. This is why we talk to one another, while we deal with one another. Like we gotta come together. We gotta shake hands. We gotta get on the same page. We gotta let brothers who have the knowledge and wisdom to the forefront. We're not gonna do what the mainstream media does. We're not gonna put our worst first and our best last. We're not gonna do that. That's why I like Machismo TV. You got men who are actually established and accomplished, who are up there giving it their all and spreading their knowledge. They are actually spreading their knowledge. Like on my way out of here, I want to leave y'all with this. Don't pay attention to the schedule here, because I'm about to close this out. We cannot move forward as men without our best and brightest out there. I'm not going to limit everything I say to just black men. Even though I am a black man, I tend to put our interests first. But we're not going to, as men, we're not going to continue to put our worst out in front. We're going to keep battling, taking down these people one at a time who continue to make our image look bad. We understand that it's really popular right now to make black men look bad. It's always pile on a black man, right? And to you individuals who are not black, I caution you about dogpiling on the black man. Because when they're done with us, which they're not going to win, but when they see fit, they're going to turn on you too. They're already calling everybody incels that don't agree with them. They're calling you every name in the book. You might as well get on this train and help us correct this society, this feelings-based society that ain't doing nothing for anybody. It doesn't make the world go around, but we got a bunch of people crying in the corner about their feelings. Now, I get it. Feelings are important. Yeah, you should seek therapy to level set yourself and correct things that are wrong that's going in your head so you don't destroy yourself. But governing a whole society based on feelings and gender identity and all these different intersectional feminism and politics and govern everything about your feelings doesn't work. Logic works, science works, facts works, data works. You can't put a rocket into space off of feelings. I feel like if I put, this amount of chemical in here versus that amount of chemical, it's going to give us the best thrust to break through the atmosphere. No, it doesn't work that way. You need concrete science in everything we do to make it work. But that's all I got, man. I'm out of here for today. Catch y'all on the next one.